Well, hello, football fans, and welcome to this edition of the Billy Skinner Lamar Viking Football Coaches Show. I'm Bill Frawley, and with me, as always, of course, head Viking football coach Billy Skinner. Coach, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Back up here, back to work. So life is good.
Another day in paradise, as they say, correct?
Another day in paradise. Absolutely.
All right. Well, hey, Coach, I'm not the most well-versed person in the world of literature, but I believe we could refer to last Friday's matchup as with Sam Houston as the tale of two games. And you said last week that you told the team the Texans would bring their best shot, and that the Vikings are going to have to bring their best shot, which would be better. And that's what happened. Were you surprised at how strongly the Texans began the game, including that opening kind of pooch kick that they
I was not surprised at all. I knew that, they're clinging to life in the playoff picture. And so I knew that they were going to come out and throw their absolute best punch. We, like you alluded to, we talked to the kids about it all week long. And, I think our kids expected it, knew it. I think they had to feel and see what that looked like. And they definitely got an opportunity to feel and see what that looked like. And so, I had all the confidence in the world that they were going to come out swinging, and they absolutely did.
Sure enough. Well, following that theme of the tale of two games, the first game, or the first half, was basically a track meet. Both teams exchanged touchdowns and a couple of punts. Quarterback Justin Tone of the Texans, man, he repeatedly lit up the secondary with some long passes, and they seemed to kind of score at will. Did y'all feel at all like you were just trying to keep up in the first half?
Yeah, we had a couple of busts in the back end. They did a couple of things that our kids were prepared for. It just kind of, every now and then you just kind of have those moments where your brain falls asleep. And we did it against a team that has a quarterback like you alluded to. I mean, that dude, he gets the ball out quick, and he got the ball out quick to some of those guys that can absolutely run for them. And they did. They had some success there. But I was really, really pleased offensively. This is actually the first game this year where our offense scored a touchdown on our first drive. And so I think that was a confidence booster for the offense. And because of that, they were, like you said, they were able to kind of keep pace and keep us in the game.
Well, and you mentioned that, and that was very notable, that scoring on the first drive. And as I was talking about trying to keep up, and I sure don't want to sell the Viking offense short by any means, because they scored on multiple drives and had their own success, passing, running, and so on.
Yes. No, there was a balance there of getting the ball on the perimeter, handing the ball to the backs and letting them get downhill. And no, I was very pleased with how they started the game. I hate that we gave up the ball on the first opening kickoff. That was, again, that's part of that Sam Houston punch that we knew was coming. And I wish we would have executed better there, but I was pleased with our offense giving us a chance.
Okay. Well, Coach, I saw you after the game, and just, I'd love to be a fly on the wall, but so here's the question. In the locker room at halftime, do you want to give us kind of just even a little inkling of kind of what happened in there?
Nope. Just kidding.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's finally a question he won't answer.
No, I'm just kidding. I told you, luckily everything was bolted down. I couldn't throw anything. No, we just talked to our kids about win the day. We wanted to refocus on who we are as a team. And so we talked about what does win the day look like in the second half. And, I told them, love them to death. The expectation, all of those things are going to remain very, very high for them. And we know that they can go out and do what they need to win the game. And that's what we told them is we believe in you guys. We believe that you're going to get it done. And they did. And they had to settle down and play. And I think that both coordinators did a phenomenal job, and both staffs, offensive and defensive staffs, did a phenomenal job of getting that information relayed to their side of the ball. I know Coach Naharo really did a good job of pulling those defensive backs over and saying, hey, look, guys, this is things that we've worked on all week. And, just we can't freak out. And he got the message across. They gave up 0 points in the second half. So.
I think that goes a lot into the buying into the program, as you've been talking about all season long. Because, I'm thinking it could be real easy for the players to come out on a, not even down, but just on a plateau thinking, gosh, what do we have to do? But they came out like it was a new game. They came out with a new, on offense and defense, a new charge, if you will,
Yep.
to take care of business. And again, I love that you give credit to the offense and defensive coordinator, special teams, everyone, because it's truly on the coaching staff a team effort as well.
Oh, it is. And then we have guys like Amarion Fox who will, when things start to get a little bit out of hand, he's one that can bring people back. Jaden Morris is another guy that, the game never gets away from those guys, and they know how to keep teammates locked in, and they're not afraid to call teammates out to get them locked back in. And so, we've got a great staff here. We've also got a great group of leaders on our team, and all of that combined, I think, is why Friday happened the way that it did.
Well, it sure was fun to see the strong outcome, coming out in the third quarter, and the momentum, Big Mo, however you want to call it, definitely switched. One of the highlights seemed to be, and I guess it's okay to call it a fake punt, even though Ford never actually got the ball, but it was the direct snap to Parker Schutte.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, speaking of like kind of catching someone off guard, holy cow, he run 20, 30 yards, something to that effect, and got that important first down, kept that drive alive, but more importantly, kept the ball, or equally importantly, kept the ball out of the Texans' offensive hands.
Yep. Well, one of the cool things about that play, Parker Schutte is a kid that I can trust completely. I mean, he's one that he's our personal protector on the punt team. And I told him all week, hey, man, I'm going to kind of give you a green light all week. If you see that this is here and you're going to get the first down, you've got the green light. You don't have to worry about it. And so we ran out there, we ran out on the punt, and he kind of gave me a look, and I kind of gave him a look. And, we both kind of exchanged that smile, and he was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. And so, he made the right call at the exact right time, and he got a 19-yard gain. So now he's leading our team in yards per carry. So Parker Schutte is the new leader in the clubhouse for that stat.
That's great. So without giving anything away, and this may be a question you don't want to answer. So when he saw that, you gave the kind of the head nod, smile back. Does he call out a signal then so the center knows to snap it to him?
So
or does he just poach the snap, so to speak?
Yeah. He and I would be the only ones who would know.
Okay.
No one else needs to know. And
Gotcha.
So he gives the signal, and they do what they do, or they don't.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah, no, I got you. That's okay. And I understand. Well, man, that was just an extra spark that was needed. So that's really a great thing to do. So Coach, Friday night coming up, Choctaw Stadium, the former Globe Life Park, going to take on the Arlington Colts, and there's still a playoff position at stake here, so to speak. What are some of the things the Vikings need to be prepared for to stave off the Colts and continue the trek toward the playoffs?
Well, I'll tell you one thing about Arlington High School is they are year in, year out, one of the best coached teams in the state of Texas. I mean, offensively, they will put together a game plan that's catered just to your weaknesses on defense. I mean, it may be a formation, it may be a series of adjustments, it may be a couple of motions. I mean, whatever it is, they find what you're deficient at on defense, and they do a good job of trying to take advantage of those things. And this year's no different. I mean, we've seen them get better and better and better offensively. From a defensive standpoint, very, very aggressive. Their guys do a good job of getting after the ball carrier, getting to the quarterback, and doing those kind of things. So just like every other week, for us, it's about, hey, what do we need to do to make sure that we're firing on all cylinders? So I know you're probably tired of hearing me talk about fundamentals, but we are going to
not at all.
Yep. We're going to work on blocking. We're going to work on taking care of the football. We're going to work on tackling a ball carrier. Arlington High has a running back that I think is one of the top in the district. And so we're going to have to double down on getting guys on the ground. So we're going to work on all of those things and work on those fundamentals while also trying to keep our guys healthy and get them to Friday.
Right. Now, this is considered by, I think, a lot of students, players, everyone, a rivalry game. It's, it's the closest high school geographically, and it's one of the longest matchups in the city. Does that come into play at all? And I guess the other thing I'll say is in the 28 years I've lived in Arlington, I have seen some really crazy stuff in these games because no matter which team is quote better that season, ranked higher, has a better record, either team can beat either one. And I've seen big upsets. I've seen all kinds of stuff. Does any of that come into play as far as it being a rivalry game? Do you downplay that with the players at all?
No, I mean, for us, it's, hey, we want to dominate Monday. We want to win Monday. We're going to continue to live that message. Now, when Friday shows up, will there be some more electricity in the air? I'm sure. I mean, that's just kind of the way it goes. And you know that. And we all know that. But at the end of the day, it's football, and it's what we prepare to do all week long. So we're not going to overhype anything. We know who they are. They know who we are. We're just going to show up and try to win Monday.
Sounds good. All right, switching gears a little bit. You had an alumni, I'll call it recognition celebration at the beginning of the game Friday night, which was really cool to see. Man, I'll kind of, I will say the old timers, the former players of various ages come back, and the event really seemed to be a hit with the fans and the former players, including yourself. You were out there. Is that something you plan to start doing on a regular basis annually or something?
Yeah, so we're going to do that once a year. This was our first annual kickoff for that. It was extremely special to have those guys there that we had. Scott McGarrahan, who graduated here in '93. And he went on and played at University of New Mexico, and then he played in the NFL for 8 years. He actually came and talked to the team beforehand, and he let them know his story, which is really a neat one. He's a kid that didn't play until his senior year. He had a coach who took a chance on him and saw something in him. He took that opportunity, he ran with it. And because of that, he had one scholarship offer coming out of Lamar, and that one scholarship offer was University of New Mexico. So another person took a chance on him, and he took that opportunity. And, it was just a very cool message that he shared with our kids. And I think it was important for them, and it is important for them to see the guys who came before, and for them to know how important this place is to them, and that legacy that was left behind. So it was a really cool event. Some of these guys were guys I looked up to as I was coming up the ranks. I see Scott McGarrahan. We've got Joe Walker out there who, he's one of my all-time favorite Vikes. And so it was a really neat event. Next year, I want to double or triple the number of alumni that we had here. And just, I want to make it a thing.
Cool. That sounds great. And you mentioned that the one player had the one offer from New Mexico and really didn't play much till senior year. And it kind of puts the thought into my mind. I've heard football coaches, basketball, baseball, all, different sports say you always want to play and work out and live like someone's watching you that could give you that one shot, because you never know who's in the stands. And nowadays you never know who's watching either live or a replay of the football game.
That's the absolute truth. And then the flip side of that, for the kids that have a boatload of offers and those kind of things, you can only pick one. So true. On the flip side of that, there's only one opportunity for you. So no, it was a really neat message that he shared, and I think that can correlate to multiple players.
Definitely so. Switching gears again now, I had the opportunity to announce the freshman game on Thursday night. My travel schedules kind of kept me away, it seems like, on most of the freshman home games. But I got to tell you, Coach, that team has come a long way since even the scrimmage or the first week or two of the season. Between them and the JV team, there's a lot of talent. And again, buying into the program at those levels, it just seems almost to be, maybe it's exaggerating to call it a wave, but just the flow coming through to complement the players that are at varsity right now. What would you like to say about that?
There's definitely some confidence being built on that freshman level and on that JV level. That freshman staff that we have in play, they do an outstanding job with our kids, and they do a great job of getting them prepared and getting them ready to play, and helping them get confident in what they're doing. And I think that showed up this week whenever we're playing Sam Houston. And it actually, for the freshmen, started very, very slow. Sam Houston a lot like the varsity game, got the ball on the first kickoff, and then they went down and they scored. And so, kind of a punch in the face, as it were. And, our kids responded really well to it. We've got, on that freshman group, we've got some guys who go both ways, offense and defense. Ransom Burns is a kid that plays outside linebacker, and then he plays on the offensive line. Braylon Rhodes is another kid who plays offensive line, defensive line, and they're both playing, both of them, at a very high level. And so, it's cool to see that buy-in. It's cool to see those kids take the coaching, apply it, and start having some success with it. Flip side of that, on the JV, again, we've got some coaches who are pouring into those kids, and those kids who are really, really buying into it. On our JV level, we got a kid named Curtis Shaw who has probably played just about every position. He started off and he was a inside linebacker, then he was a running back, and then he was a outside receiver, then he was a tight end, and now he's kind of found a home at defensive end. And you talk about just taking it, embracing it, and going and making some big plays. That kid is one that has been doing that and getting after it. So I'm really excited about our sub varsities. I think that we've got some pieces there that's going to make it a very bright future here.
Definitely so. And we could go on and on with the names, and maybe in a future show, we'll do a little bit more of that, because I almost feel guilty. Sometimes I'm going to leave a name out that we should have said, but there are some that do those things. And, but that is so incredible to watch and experience firsthand. So, again, fans, come out to a JV or freshman game as well as a varsity game. Even if you don't have a son or nephew, grandson, whatever in the program, they are fun, exciting games as well. And speaking of all that, Coach, would you please go through the Thursday night JV and freshman team schedules for us?
I will do it to the best of my ability. So
okay.
This week is a little bit different. We've only got one freshman team. Arlington High right now is looking for a second freshman game. So we were originally scheduled to play them at 5:30. There's a chance we can play them at 5:30. There's a chance we can play them at 7. But as soon as I get that information, I'll make sure I get that kicked out to the parents and to the fans. So, and
would that be over at Arlington High School?
Yep, that's going to be at Arlington High School.
Gotcha.
And then our JV, they will play at 5:30 here at Cravens on Thursday.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, Coach, anything else you have to add before we sign off this week?
Well, it's been a long, tough, fulfilling, awesome, just a bunch of those words, a bunch of those descriptors season. And I can't tell you, Bill Frawley, how much I appreciate you for the time that you put into this. And I mean, you come and you announce the freshman games and the JV games. And I really, really appreciate you. And I appreciate you giving us a voice to reach out to our families and reach out to our community. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much. Makes me feel really good about it. Unexpected. Thank you.
You bet.
I'm blushing, I think. Wow. Anything else to add?
No, I want to see as many Vikings as we can this week. This is a big one for us. And I want to get butts in the seats and come out and celebrate and cheer on the Vikes.
All right. That sounds really good. Well, until next time, I'm Bill Frawley with head Viking football coach Billy Skinner saying VFND.
VFND.